Alright, gang, time for day 3 of reading the Jurassic Park novel that inspired the movies. For people new, I just read the book, react to the book, say I'm thinking as I'm reading the book. It's my first time doing it. Last 2 videos, or the first 2 first 2 days of doing it. Starting off on page 48, I believe it was called The Skeleton. Hell yeah, my memory's there. But alright, let's start reading. Like my little bookmark, I forgot to take one in the car, and this was up there, so I was like, fuck it. And he's getting the facts of the x-ray of the compy they got so they can confirm it's not the Baskin lizard, it's the compy. Grant obviously doesn't think it's going to actually be it, but, weigh in the facts. When he's doing that, he's telling Ellie, yo, we found a baby velociraptor skeleton, and they're like, hell yeah. Which is a funny thing, because, in the movie, they find a full-grown velociraptor, so, kind of funny, but continue reading. And it explains why it's a big deal they found the velociraptor specifically, is because, for every carnivore, it's 1,000 herbivores or whatever the fuck. And, we found some bigger carnivores, like 10 T-Rexes and so on. Where are the little ones, though? So they're actually finding the smaller ones being the raptor. That's why they got so hyped about that. Because they're not saying, herbivores and carnivores all nest in the same spot. But, it's a good nesting area, so it should intertwine a little bit. That's basically what I'm picking up. But if I'm wrong, feel free to correct me. I'm an idiot, and I'd rather have the correct shit in my head instead of whatever the fuck I come up with, But then it's showing a little bit more of the fucking shit. It's Grant Stream's been the study an infant carnivore because he already did the herbivore. And she's like, you must be excited though, right, Grant? And he's like, my God, looking at the x-ray. All right, and they're talking about the different species of dinosaur could possibly be. And he's just no 3-toed lizards walked on this planet in 200 million years. So they know some shit's going on now. So these 2 pages, they're basically thinking, well, it could be a fake, could be a hoax type shit. They're looking at it and they're like, no, it's almost impossible to fake an x-ray type shit. And then they come to the conclusion, it's a scientific name for the compy. So I'm not even going to try to say it because I'm a dumbass. And, yeah, apparently this is what was the remains. They tried to put it together. A howler monkey got it. And then they're arguing about whether or not to attack a little girl because, well, based off this, it would be about a foot tall and a child might maybe go for a baby, which they did, but maybe not a child. But they're arguing about it, talking about other species that have been rediscovered being extinct for millions of years. So it's not entirely impossible in their minds. I'm in the little science shit, pretending I'm yeah, I understand it all. It's making sense to me though. But the problem with the compies is, so they're around in the Cretaceous, the earliest period of the dinosaurs, 220 million years ago. That was the longest they were one of the first fucking dinosaurs essentially. And they're that was way too, Pangea was still a thing back then. There's no way the species looks even if it was that species, there's no way it would look the same type shit is what they're coming to. But Ellie argues, well, sharks and gators and shit are from that time period, and that basically negates what we were just saying there. So, it's happened before. But basically, it ends with them agreeing, okay, it's a rediscovery. Maybe let's send us another specimen. Then Hammond complaining about the fucking, the guy who was investigating him earlier, fucking just bitching about him, essentially. And then he says he's contacting Ian Malcolm. Let's go. And it's funny, he starts talking about the park, and he's like, yeah, you should go see the park. And every time Alan goes to go, no, I'm not. He's like, oh, I insist on, no, I don't. Yeah, you should really go. He just gives him, he's forcing him to go, essentially. It's kind of funny. But Alan finally says, no, we found evidence of compies. I'm just going to keep on compies. Compies are still around. He's like, where did you find it? Somewhere. Tells him where, and he starts sounding upset on the phone. They go to get Morris, the investigative guy, but his car is gone. And he's like, he sounds pissed. But alright, got to continue reading. Oh, he also asked if he told anyone yet, and he says, no. Alright, so now continue because, maybe he's going to try to kill Alan. And it ends with him offering them $20,000 a day to go down there for the weekend, so they can make $60,000 each. That's going to fund us for a couple summers. It's alright, sweet, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, Monday, what the fuck. We'll see them. Alright, continue reading. Alright, this dude we met earlier, he's one of the head dudes at InGen. He calls Grant, and he's doing this bullshit phone call, oh, we're super happy you're coming down to the island, blah, 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 blah. And then he, basically, the only important thing is, he asks about the compy specimen. Grant tells him the doctor in New York hasn't even seen that. So now they're going to go get that aka get the evidence. But all right, and it was also saying the investors got a little spooked, so it's interesting. And when John Hammond was on the phone with him, he mentioned sending them something in the mail about the park. And he comes with this shit. I don't think it's important. Maybe I'll be wrong. And then it's a little map of the park with like designated areas, like oh, it's tennis court, swimming pool, and then there's little coded things. I think those are supposed to be like the dinosaur names, but because world's not supposed to know about the dinosaurs yet, they're coded. Like that might be Velociraptor. I think in the middle one's T-Rex, and so on and so forth. Well, Triceratops. I was saying not T-Rex, but don't know for sure yet. And hey, unlike the movie, they got moats fucking outside of the animal enclosures. But they noticed that they're like miles of electrified fence and moats. It's like a zoo at a resort. So even though the book uses like the actual size of velociraptors, like they were smaller animals, he still thinks they were spooky because they're looking at this baby one's like size of a thorn, basically. They're saying, and they're like, it doesn't look scary. He's like, no, it's a baby. He probably just scavenged, and he probably was really cute. The adults, so they had the fucking razor sharp claws. And they probably hunted in packs, so it was probably something to see, like, a bunch of these little-ass dudes gang up on fucking a much bigger creature to take it down. So, and supposedly they're pretty smart, too. So he's like, yeah, and they're, unlike the movie ones, they're big boys, do their shit. Because, the movie ones, they're basically bitch versions of the Utah Raptor, superior dinosaur. They're actually supposed to be named after Steven Spielberg, but that's a whole other thing. But these velociraptors, smaller but still spooky. And this chapter ends with one of the kids asking how it died, and he was basically saying, we don't know. We know what hunted packs, but we don't know what their social life was like. And the kids, they're like, oh, and they've all studied animal shit, and this is an actual thing they talk about when a new big boy lion takes over a pride, a pack, whatever they're called. First thing to do is they'll kill all the cubs. That way the females, they don't waste time like look after the cubs of another male, and that way they go into heat, so he impregnates them, and his DNA gets spread out even more. So they're like, maybe that's what happened with that, and it just like ends with Alan being like, after 150 years of research and excavation all around the world, they still knew almost nothing about dinosaurs. What had dinosaurs really been like? And then he's like, we got to go if we're gonna make it to. Word by 5, the place for the private airplane. That way they can make it to Jurassic Park. But alright, we're ending it on page 66, so we're going 6, 7, fucking, not tomorrow, but the day after. So, but if you enjoyed me reading / reacting to Jurassic Park, leave a like, comment, maybe even follow. I mostly do comic books, but I'm doing normal books. I've covered a little bit of manga as well. We're doing a little bit of everything. And on my days off, we build Legos. I got Jurassic Park Legos. I'm going to build them my next day off. But alright, ending it here.